welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at the first patch notes of this game, and I'm going to be reading through them with you and have a little bit of a talk about them. So first and foremost, hit the like button, blah blah blah. If you want to do all that stuff, it's fine, it's whatever. I'll be streaming a little bit later too, so you can come catch me there. I'll be leveling up my pyro to get to endgame, but maybe I don't need to now. Maybe they've been nerfed into the ground. I don't know, let's find out. So first patch, this is our first big patch on main Outriders game. Scheduled for next week, so that's good to know. Doing our utmost to deliver a stable patch as soon as possible, so hopefully things aren't as bad as they may seem, and you can follow them on Twitter. I'll link this in the video description as well if you want to go through them more intricately. So patch notes. PC and console players. Once platforms have been updated to the same patch version, crossplay will be viable again. So crossplay is getting fixed. Stability improvements for matchmaking services. Obviously, I thought these two were going to be, you know, within the patch notes. Crash fixes. I'm not even going to go through those, but various crash fixes are there. HUD disappearing in certain cases. I've known that to happen a lot on PC. We'll fix bugs that interfere with players respawning in multiplayer expeditions. I've never heard of that one, so it's just there, yeah. We'll fix bugs with players getting stuck on geometry, including when they use gravity leap or falling out of the world. I actually made a suggestion bug report about this, so maybe my bug report got us this fix, because that happened to me. I kept getting caught on barbed wire and stuff, or on the edge of like a cliff. We'll change the default matchmaking setting from open to closed. Definitely needed this, because randomly my game just opens and people are joining me. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I didn't even want that to happen. So I'm happy to see that, and then you can change it yourself. This change will prevent players from joining games where they didn't intend to play multiplayer, and it will also cut down on AFK lobbies. You know, very important fix. Improved to matchmaking times, as the queues will be less likely to be overwhelmed by the sheer volume of constant matchmaking requests generated by open games. That actually makes a lot of sense too. PC specific will fix a performance issue where GPU is not being fully utilized. This should help with stuttering and DirectX 11 and 12. Really, I thought there'd be more PC specific things, because there's been a lot of issues with PC. You know, people coming into my stream and telling me about it. Like, it seems pretty stressful for a PC player. So hopefully this one fix makes quality of life a little bit better. Okay, Outriders community appreciation page. After working on Outriders for more than 5 years, we were disappointed as you at the launch weekend did not go as planned. I've read that completely wrong. The sentence just jumbled up all the words in my head, but we move forward. We ran into connectivity issues, which we have explained in full here. I'm not going to bother opening that. If you want to go and find it, you can. Throughout all of this, we really appreciated all your messages of support and encouragement, and they helped us power through and improve the situation. We would like to thank each and every one of you beyond just saying it. So we're working on a small appreciation package for our launch window players. All players who played between those days are eligible. Any players outside the above window but for whom we will have performed an automatic inventory wipe restoration are also eligible. Your highest level character will receive a level appropriate legendary weapon, a level appropriate amount of titanium, the emote frustration, which is otherwise unobtainable at this moment in time. The irony here was not lost on us. So we're getting a little bit of rewards just for going through all the troubles that we did. And I actually made a comment on my stream about this. Just give us some titanium or something that just give us something. So I'm happy to see that we also get a legendary weapon too. I wonder if they could make this a level appropriate unique legendary weapon, so I don't get any duplicates, because that'd be frustrating if you got like a duplicate of something you've already got. I might actually ask them about that myself personally in the Discord. So post-launch inventory wipes. So inventory wipes and restoration. We believe that the rate of this bug appearing should be greatly reduced once the upcoming patch has been published. So, you'll see less of those. Restoration should take place on a specific day and should be a one-time event. The exact date is to be confirmed, but we're hoping for this to occur in the coming weeks. So they're going to take one moment in time and restore everybody's inventory that were struggling or suffering from this. We will only be able to restore the most valuable tiers of items lost, e.g. epics and legendaries. We'll be unlikely to restore an inventory full of blue gear. I think that's fair, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of work for extra blue gear that people don't particularly need, but the epics and legendaries, definitely worth it. The restoration should be additive to your inventory. It should not replace your current inventory. So if you've carried on playing on that character and you have loads of new stuff, all your stuff will return, but not overwrite the things that you've had. Restored items may not be or have the exact same stats as the lost items, which is fair, because that's just way too much work to try and put all that together. So there we go, inventory wipes and stuff. Let's have a look at rebalancing. The reason we're all here, what we're going to get forward, coming forward with just everything in the game, to be honest. So general balance notes: Historian, Bounty Hunter, Monster Hunter quests no longer grant legendary items for each subsequent completion. There was an exploit that I've spoken about, which I didn't want to kind of push forward for people to do because I didn't know how it would be, how people would be reprimanded. So what you could do is go into a multiplayer lobby and do hunts, and every single hunt would reward you a legendary instead of doing all of them and then getting one. So that was obviously a big issue, but they have said, you know, anyone who took advantage of this will not be punished. So good to know. Good to know. If you've done it, you're fine. Don't worry about it. And let's move forward. So adjusted loot on specific enemies: Tukabist, Split Tooth, Sand Shifter, and Cold Claw. These particular beasts are being too generous considering the required effort to take them down. Cold Claw's a bitch, man, to take down, unless you can just freeze him in space. But, you know, so they're reducing the loot drops on those enemies, basically, or like the rarity of loot. I don't know. They're just making loot more rare. Chemplant and Boomtown, the expedition times are going to change in terms of gold, silver, and bronze. They're going to get lessened. So for Chemplant, 650, 1150, and 1500 seconds. Previously, that was 957, 1303, and 1650. So you're really going to have to push through Chemplant now to get gold or anything of the above. Boomtown, expedition time: 390, 589, 776. Previously 422, 607, and 792. Now, I've spoken to a couple of people about this, and Boomtown's quite difficult at the higher challenge tiers to get gold anyway. So I think this one might be a little bit of a misstep. The problem I find with this in terms of me as a player is that all this is doing is punishing Devastators who can't even get bronze on most of these things at higher challenge tiers. So I really think they really need to think about this again, but I'm not one here to judge them. You know, it might not be a problem. We'll have to wait to see with the patch. Critical rating, damage and multiplier on tactical assault rifles reduced to 165, so we're losing 10% on critical rating damage. I'm just sure that's probably just crits, isn't it? I'm not sure. Same with marksman rifle, losing 50%. Marksman rifles with a 300% crit rate showed up to be dominating multiple crit builds, but making the modifier the same as the bolt rifle action, we want to offer players more options when choosing what gun to use. So this, I believe this is probably tied to the Technomancer that was hitting unbelievable crits. You know, it's going to be lessened, but we don't know how this is effectively going to work in the game until it's actually in the game. It might not even be that big of a deal. You might have to take 2 shots instead of 1, so we'll just see what happens with that. Duration of the Massacre AP buff has been reduced to 3 seconds. This is a temporary measure until we have fixed the issue with the stacking cap. Not really sure what this is, to be honest, off the top of my head. I don't know who that's for. But anyway, let's move forward. Bullet abilities: Twisted Rounds, Blighted Rounds, and Volcanic Rounds. So rounds-based abilities have been absolutely dominant, so we definitely saw a nerf coming. But I do, however, believe that they could have maybe nerfed them less than they have and pushed the Devastator up to meet the other classes. However, they're the developers, they choose, and we don't even know how this is going to affect the game. So let's have a look. The base cooldown of Twisted Round skill has increased to 25 seconds, previously 16. So when it runs out to when it comes back, we now have basically an extra 10 seconds. The problem with this is that there is infinite ammo builds, and you know that was always their intention, but like if you miss your shots or you don't get the ammo replenishment, it's just going to take a little bit longer to come back. So your actual damage output, according to this specific nerf, isn't that big of a deal with the builds that you have. This, though, the Trickster's Hero Trinos, Disruptive Power, Scion of Power, and Outrider Executioner have had their power reduced by 15%. So you're going to be doing 15% less weapon damage because of these being nerfed. Then we have the vulnerable status is also being nerfed, and I'm assuming this just means you're going to, when you put vulnerable on someone, you usually, let's say, do 10,000 damage a bullet. Now you're going to be doing a lot less. Vulnerability is changing in that sense. That's the only way I can kind of make it straight in my head. The Technomancer Hero Tree Node damage against poison has had its power reduced by 15%, so it's been halved to what it actually was. Now, I haven't played Technomancer, so I can't really speak on that, but I'm assuming that's quite a decent nerf. The Pyromancer Hero Tree Node Trial of Ashes has been reduced 15% from what it was. So, you know, there's a lot of things here that are being nerfed. They look like big numbers, but we'll just have to wait and see how it plays in the game. There are also some more notes about like co-op and multiplayer connection and stuff, and some connectivity post-mortem, tech-heavy insight. You know, you can read those yourself if you go into the Reddit link in the video description down below. So for me as a Devastator main, I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't balance them up and just nerfed everything else down, because nothing changes for me. I still struggle on, you know, challenge tier 9, 10 as a Devastator unless I get a very, 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 very specific build built. But to get those builds built, I have to farm the game and Expedition, I don't know, challenge tier 7 countless amounts of times for hours and hours and hours, whereas all the other classes are fine at challenge tier 14 already. So, you know, I really do feel they need to bring Devastator up to meet everything else, and that's really my only complaint. I haven't experienced any of these other builds for me to be worried about them being nerfed. When I get to the point of using these perks, I'm going to be using them as for the first time, so you know, I guess I'm kind of spoiled in that way a little bit. So yeah, those are the patch notes. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I can't wait to see it in place, to see the kind of differences there are, and if there really is going to be that big of a difference, and how it plays when it's on the game. But anyway, that's the video. Thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.